The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
We've got a new offense. You've got a whole new coaching staff on offense, or mostly new. What's that been like for you this year?
Fantastic, honestly. It's totally different than what I expected coming into this year. But one thing that stayed the same and really helped me was Coach Ray, offensive line coach from last year. He stuck around, and he's helped integrate me into this new offense. Coach Tanner Fleming, Coach T, he's been a great addition to the staff, especially in the offensive line room. It's teaching us toughness, physicality, and he was a 3-year starter. He got a lot of accolades when he played at Navy for Coach Ingram, so he's got a lot of vast knowledge to teach us, and then Coach Peterson, Coach Patrick, Coach Ingram, of course. We like to joke around that we have 3 offensive line coaches because Coach Ingram is down there always in our ear all the time about correcting like little things here and there, but I love it. It's great.
One of the things that's almost universal when Carson-Newman's good and winning and taking playoff runs is the offensive line is the key to it. And you guys get the national recognition. We had 2 Remington Award winners here. We've had multiple All-Americans, guards and tackles and things like that. So obviously that for you guys to do what you want to do on offense, it's so much is on you in the offensive line. Talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. The offensive line is always under a significant amount of pressure, and you like to joke around, but it's honestly true. Nobody notices the offensive line until they're doing horrible. You don't get any recognition when you're doing good, but as soon as you start doing bad, they start to notice. So it takes a lot of selflessness to be an offensive lineman, and that's not me bragging on my stuff. That's me bragging on my teammates, because everybody who plays offensive line has done it their entire life, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be an offensive lineman, and we have great coaches who teach us what to do. And I'm really looking forward to this year. We've got a great lineup of dudes. We got Christian Jones, who's returning. I'm sure everybody knows about Christian Jones, all conference, great player. We got Turk Daniels, a freshman, came from Colquitt County up in Moultrie, Georgia, and he's a dog. I'm looking forward to seeing Turk play. He's really, really good. Showed himself a lot in practice, and it's just going to be a good year. Offensive line is always the key.
Was there a moment in practice or work in the spring or summer where, especially where everything just kind of clicked with the new, like, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is how it's, everything's like. Was there a moment like that for you guys, you think?
Absolutely. I think we had fewer in spring, but there were flashes of just, play breaks, and you see TC, Tyler Curtis, just take it to the house from the 50 or something. Or you see a setup into a pass pro, and you see a ball thrown to Jeremiah Carroll or Cade Meeks, and it's a touchdown. And it's like, it's fun because – and I know that if we can do it against our defense, then we can do it against anybody, because we're playing out against the best competition we have. Coach Slade and Major weren't joking. They were talking about their teammates and their players. You got Chico Martavis Mason and you got Jesse Combs on the D-line. They ain't nothing to joke about. And then we have, I think, the best secondary in the SAC. We got linebackers who will come down and hit you, or they'll go into coverage. If we can do it against our defense, we can do it against anybody.
What was the inspiration for your facial hair for this picture?
Funny story. Freshman year, there was a guy by the name of Andrew Coulter. He played tight end here. He was from Maryville, Tennessee. Played for Alcoa. And he told me freshman year, I was 18, naive. I'm only 2 years older now, so it's not like it's that big of a difference. But he told me that everybody does something funny with their facial hair for the pictures for the roster, and I was like, oh, okay, this would be sweet, And so I took out the middle of my beard, and I went with just like a General Grant style picture, And I was the only one on the whole team. Nobody else did it. It was just me.
You show up for pictures. Like, when did you realize, oh, I'm the only one?
As soon as I walked in the building, because everybody looked at me and laughed. They're like, yeah, dude, we're all going to do mutton chops, sideburns. I was like, no, it's okay. So I just made it to a tradition. It's my thing now. I've done it every year. It's finally growing back out, but if you look a little closer, you can still tell it's a little faded there.
Being an offensive lineman in the option, what is different as opposed to last year?
The intensity. I would say. You can tell even by the way we get in our stance. So at center, you're in a 4-point stance at center. You know, there is no more, there's some shotgun snaps, but there is no more just like laid back, let's have an easy little pass set here. We're coming off the ball to hit you in the mouth every play from tackle to tackle. It's the intensity is different. The chasing the ball, that's a big thing that really got to me. Had to drop some weight for that. It's totally different. You're every play you're running at least like 10, 15 yards chasing the ball, whether it's a pass or a run. Like if there's a 50-yard touchdown, I'm running a 50-yard sprint to celebrate with my teammates in the end zone. If it's a 3-yard grind, I'm right there beside my B-back grinding it out. So the physicality and intensity is probably the biggest difference.
I want you to touch on the weight loss. We had you listed last year at 300.
Yeah, last year I played probably about 300, 305. I'm sitting about 270, 275 now.
Is that a byproduct of the running, or did you need to do that to run?
A bit of both. They saw me whenever the new coaches first got in here. They evaluated each of us before they told any of us to lose any weight, and they were like, if you move pretty good, you can probably stay where you're at. If not, lose some weight. And I was one of the guys who's like, probably lose some weight, move a little better, be able to chase the ball. But yeah.
For so many guys to come back, when you had the opportunity to know that there's going to be these new offenses, what did it tell you about your teammates and your love for the school, and also the belief in Coach Ingram and the new staff that so many guys hung around and stayed?
It tells me that my teammates are committed, not just to playing football, but to each other. And, it's easy to fall back on because it's right on my shirt. But, it's a brotherhood, That's what we're all about. So nobody leaves when things get tough. That's part of it. My mom shared this with me. It was 6:30 a.m. 2 or 3 days ago. I was telling her, fall camp's hard. It's a grind. And she was telling me, just talked to her on the phone for a while. And she mentioned eagles. They have great big heavy wings, so they don't flap their wings like other birds to try to stay afloat. They soar. They stretch them out and they soar. And they wait for these things called wind thermals for them to glide on and soar on. And the best wind thermals come from storms. So an eagle will deliberately wait at the top of a peak of a tree, and it'll wait for a storm to roll in. And then as soon as the storm rolls in, it'll stretch out its wings and it'll fly on that wind thermal. And it'll, knowing that, those initial trials and tribulations will take it to clear and peaceful skies. So it tells you about the brotherhood and the Eagles. We don't avoid the storm, we run into it, and it'll lead us to peaceful skies.
All right, I feel like that's a good note to
Yes.
end on. I
Yeah,
don't care if
absolutely.
anybody has any other questions.